Great Britain, for its time, is perhaps one of the most well-known kingdoms to date. Many of you are most likely familiar with the four British Isles that make up Great Britain: England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales. Whilst there is no doubt that these four countries are the most famous of the British Isles, there is still technically a fifth one that was not classified as a British Isle, but is still territory of the United Kingdom. Located on the Irish Sea is an island that lays in between the Isle of Man and southern England. This island is called Sodor. Whilst the island is rather small, if you were to visit the island, you will be welcomed by its stunning natural beauty, its tantalizing historic landmarks, and its businesses, mines, factories, and other various industrial sites. But above all those, this island is most commonly known for its railways and engines that operate it. This might be a little strange when you hear it at first. I mean, when was the last country that was mostly known for its railways? That's because this railway, the Northwestern Railway, is home to perhaps one of the most iconic engines that ever existed. For generations and decades, adults and children alike have come to know who this little engine was. This little tank engine, of course, is none other than Thomas the Tank Engine. Now many more people only recognize Thomas the Train himself. However, the island is full of many different sentient locomotives. Now, of course, many more people are familiar with the trains that have been shown in the Railway series or the TV series like Gordon and Percy. However, the island has been home to many more engines than the ones that you've ever heard about, including me. I'm one of the engines that you probably never heard of. My name is Joey Richard Stanier, or more commonly known as the American 8F, and I've been a member of the Northwestern Railway since 1930. So you're probably thinking to yourself, if I live with Thomas the Train himself, how come no one's ever heard of me? Well, even though the Railway series and the TV series tell many different stories about us on Sodor, not all of them are necessarily true. Some stories are depicted fairly accurately to what happened in real life. Most stories were changed up a bit to fit the criteria of children, and some stories didn't happen altogether. So now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what actually happened and what didn't happen? Well, as an almost 100-year member of this railway, I wanted to disclose all the different stories that have happened during the years. Throughout the next few years, I'm going to be telling you guys everything, or at least everything to my knowledge, of what happened on the Island of Sodor that was either rewritten or almost untold. I must warn you all though, that some of these stories are not quite for the faint of heart, as real-world events do take part in these stories. So, if you're watching any of my stories next to any small children, I would advise that you close their ears. Don't worry, it's not all doom, gloom, and violence, just some mild swearing and some mildly sensitive topics here and there. And I promise I won't ruin any of your guys' childhoods, trust me, I wouldn't go that far. So you're probably wondering to yourself, at what point in time am I going to start telling my stories? Well, as far as chronologically, I could go as far back as Neil, Clive, and Matthew. But no, I think the point where the rise of Sodor truly began was the arrival of a certain little green rascal during the early years of the Great Depression. I know, we got quite a long way to go from here, so sit back, relax, and enjoy as I share with all you folks the real stories of Sodor, or as I like to call it, Sodor, the retold and untold, the desperate times.